So what you gonna do when you get out of here, goddamn?
Oh, though, dog, just trying to live it one day at a time, you know?
I hear you talking, man. Live it one day at a time. It ain't nothing but a thing, though, bro.
Yeah, I hear you, fool. Well, let me get up out of here. My ride out there waiting for me.
All right, cat. Take it easy, baby.
Stay up, fool.
Peace.
He greets his father with his hands up, rehabilitated slightly, glad to be the man's child. The world is different since he's seen it last. Out of jail, been 7 years, and he's happy that he's free at last. All he had was his mother's letters. Now he's mobile, and he's gotta make a change and make it for the better. But he's black, so he's got one strike against him. And he's young, plus he came up in the system. But he's smart, and he's finally making 18. And his goals to get on top and try to stay clean. So he's calling up his homie who came up, living lavish. Now they dealing with the same stuff. And had that attitude that who he was worth letting. And with that fucked up attitude, he killed his first man. Now it's different, he did dirt. And realized killing it me coming up, but it still hurt. And can't nobody change this. It's 1994, and we up against the same shit. I never understood why. I could never see a man cry till I seen a man die. Man cry. Imagine life at its full peak. Then imagine lying dead in the arms of your enemy. Imagine peace on this earth when there's no grief. Imagine grief on this earth when there's no peace. Everybody's got a different way of ending it. And when your number comes for souls, then they send it in. Now your time has arrived for your final test. I see the fear in your eyes and hear your final breath. How much longer will it be till it's all done? Total darkness at ease, be it all one. I watch him die, and when he dies, let us celebrate. You took his life, but your memory can never take. You'll be headed to another place, and the life you used to live will reflect in your mother's face. I still gotta wonder why I never seen a man cry till I seen a man die. You breathing, but your heart no longer sounds strong. But you kinda scared of dying, so you hold on. And you keep on blacking out, and your pulse is low. Stop trying to fight the reaper, just relax and let it go. Because there's no way you can fight it, though you'll still try. And you can try it till you fight it, but you'll still die. Your spirits leave your body and your mind clears. The rigor mortis starts to set, now you out of here. You start your journey into outer space. You see yourself in the light, but you're still feeling out of place. So you standing in the tunnel of eternal life, and you see the ones you never learn to love in life. Make the choice, let it go, but you can back it up. If you ain't at peace with God, you need to patch it up. But if you're ready, close your eyes and we can set it free. Eliza, not scared to die, may he rest in peace. I still got to wonder why I never seen a man cry till I seen that man die.
The 2020s got a lot to learn from the 90s. Before I get into this, we're going to play another song. We're going to go to another man, Bob Marley, because his song's also going to fit the topic. But we're starting with that song because that's Scarface, Houston rapper, considered probably the greatest rapper ever out of Houston. One of the best rappers of all time. I mean, he just made it look so easy, and his songs are always profound. I mean, if you were listening to the stuff he said, profound. And to have that kind of knowledge at his early 20s when that song came out, if he did write that song, again, you got to live through a lot of trauma and grief to have that kind of life perspective, as sadly a lot of people do in poorer communities in this nation. But yeah, a lot of him being a Houston hip-hop legend. Another is DJ Screw, and we're just days from the DJ Screw death anniversary, and DJ Screw went on the map in terms of the money world and the fame world June 27th, 96. Houston hip-hop legend. And now we have the death of DJ Hayden, and here's where it fits in. The day that DJ Screw got that money, June 27th, 96, that was the day DJ Hayden turned 6 years old. And today is Saturday, named after Saturn, the 6th planet. And they're saying he is one of 6 dead in a car crash in the middle of the night, early, around 2 a.m., today, 11/11. And he's known as a Houston football star, played for the Houston Cougars. We call Houston the 31 town. 31's the 11th prime number. That's because in Gematria, Houston equals 31. Like last year, Takeoff was killed in Houston the day before the anniversary of his Rocket album. I mean, come on, Houston Rockets. But he was with his 31-year-old uncle at the time, and then they arrested the shooter 31 days later. And just last weekend, C.J. Stroud hit a nice Houston 31 ritual, just hit the other night in the NBA game. We call Houston the 31 town. Understand 31 is the 11th prime number. So we're talking about a Houston sports star dead on 11/11. And funny enough, this year, the way the date numerology falls, 11/11/2023 also has 11 date numerology. Football star dead. Football, 11/11, right? But the date numerology is 1 + 1 for the 11th day, plus 1 + 1 for the 11th month. So we've added 4 so far, 4 ones we've added together. And then you have 2023, 2 + 0 + 2 + 3 is 7. So you have 4 + 7, the date equates to 11. And this number, we in our language, our English-speaking language, and if you're new here, Gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words. These numbers, the language, the calendar, this system was synced up in the 16th century, and it's been used ritualistically ever since. And again, we began with the Scarface song, "Never Seen a Man Cry Till He's Seen a Man Die." And we got to play the Bob Marley song real quick, too, because I'm going to show you how what he's singing about factors into this type of incident, which we talk about so often. Let me just play the song and then we'll make the point. But trust me, this song is going to fit right in with the topic, and it's a topic we revisit so often, sadly. And again, like I said, if the world will wake up to this, if we'd stop funding these leagues that are doing this, these entertainment venues that are doing this, creating these larger-than-life stars. Again, the problem with having larger-than-life stars, you guys, too, not to get too far off topic, I guess it's all related, but having larger-than-life stars, it makes like the young children grow up and want to be these things. But it's part of something that's not sustainable. It's not right. It causes a lot of, again, these mega stars who get all this attention and fame, in a way, they probably, all things good and bad, but think about all the great entertainers in your own community that nobody will ever go out and listen to in their own town on a Friday night because they just want to sit at home and listen to the megastar that's been marketed to them to listen to. And now you can watch it live on this streaming service or whatever. It's like because so many people are sucking up so much attention, it's like other people in your own community who you probably wish you knew, like the great musician right next door, might inspire you. You might become a part of the band. Again, just these things aren't happening. But also, the greater point we're going to get to is why they continue to do this sixth system of ritual, sacrifice, and entertainment. But first, we got to listen to Bob. And then we'll really put it together. And why DJ Hayden and DJ Screw were so perfect for this ritual. But first, Bob.
Crucify the dread.
All right. So again, if you guys haven't listened to enough Bob, he has way more songs than Buffalo Soldier and the ones you've heard on the radio. And they're one song that people should really listen to. And the whole thing about heaven and hell is just like the Scarface song that we played first. He says in one line, he says, imagine peace with no grief. And then the next line, he says, imagine grief with no peace. And this cabal that runs this world, they know how to mass manipulate and mass mind control and create mass suffering that is unnecessary. And we are doing it to ourselves. And again, these sports leagues are torture for humanity. Most people are just addicted to it through the culture, but it's not even good for them. They're getting so mad and outraged, and they're breaking things, and they're losing too much money. And it's just, again, it's wicked. And instead of people actually being out in the park, going on hikes, coming together as a family, having picnics, whatever you want to call it, you know, they're all in front of the TV, divided, watching these games, all caught up in the games. Now they got their other screen in their hand, and they're texting their friend about the game, and they're mad about the game in cyberspace. And anyway, it really is part of this big, sick thing, but it's not the players who get sacrificed fault. Again, they're growing up like all of us, the American dream. Hey, you want to get recognition? Be a great athlete. People love a great athlete. You'll get the girls in high school. People will like you. It's always cool. Well, everybody has haters too, but again, for the most part, in our culture, being a great athlete is a good way for some form of fame and benefit, especially in status. And also, we hear the stories about the great athletes who make the crazy salaries. If you can get to be that good, you can become one of the wealthiest people there ever was. So you can't blame the child who hears that and is influenced by their culture and society, and then by the time they're 18 years old and they're nearly on the verge of going to a league like this, they've achieved it, they've made it there. It's not their fault, right? They followed like the American path and they made it there. For everybody who ever made it to the league or to collegiate sports legitimately, and it's not because their father was a former member of the team or a big donor or a member of the right secret society, the way a lot of these people get in here. But again, we're going to talk about the ritualism of this. And again, we'll try to put together how they are achieving these perfect rituals. One more time, DJ Hayden is dead just days before the anniversary of the death of DJ Screw, who's a Houston hip-hop legend. And their deaths are now span of 6 days apart, November 11th and November 16th. That is 5 days later, but don't forget to count November 11th. If you count all those days, November 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, you should be on your sixth finger. So their deaths are now a total, taking up a span of 6 days. Dead in a 6-car crash. Again, dead on Saturn's Day, Saturday, named after the 6th planet. And again, it was the 6th birthday of DJ Hayden that DJ Screw got the big record payment for June 27th, 96. And if you look, that record's 38 minutes long, which we'll also get to. If you don't know about 38, I know you're new here, welcome to the channel. But look how perfect this ritual is. Again, a young black man dead on 11/11. Houston has that Gematria 31, the 11th prime. It's week 11 in college football. He played for the Houston Cougars. He's dead at age 33. 33 is a very special number, going back to Kundalini, about spiritual ascension up the 33 bones of the human vertebrae. In Gematria, Kundalini equals Freemasonry, equals secret society, equals Rosicrucian, equals biblical, equals King James with the Bible, dead at age 58 unexpectedly. Anyway, Kundalini and 33. With regards to 33 itself, in light of 33 bones in the human vertebrae, consider the words person and people. Here, I want to make a point. Like, it was things like this back when I found this knowledge in 2013, because I was really predominantly looking at only 2 ciphers in 2013. I was only looking at those 2. Maybe a year later, I learned about Jewish Gematria. 2 years later, I learned about reverse. But look at this. Like, the word people is 33 with the alphabetic order of numerology. Person is 33. Society is 33. Nervous is 33. I mean, your nervous system's controlled by your spine and vertebrae. So it's also 33, going with this whole Kundalini thing where 33 becomes the number of focus. That's why Freemasonry venerates the number 33. But with regards to Masonry, Masonry's 33. So is secrecy. So is order. So is federal. And again, Washington, D.C. is known as the Masonic City, named after the Mason George Washington. George Washington has the 330-foot tall monument. 333 feet tall. The House of the Temple, the Masonic headquarters for the Scottish Rite in D.C., has 33 columns on the outside that are each 33 feet tall. And again, the address for the building is 1733. Mason 17, Masonry 33, modern Freemasonry created in 1717. But I mean, again, with the Masonry piece, all of the American sports are credited to members of Freemasonry. Walter Camp, who American football is credited to, was a Mason. He was also a member of Skull and Bones. We just talked about that earlier with the Harbaugh video. So DJ Hayden's dead at 33, right? In this ritual. And consider what 33 is in numerology. It's 6, right? 3 plus 3 is 6, going with all the 6s in Saturn. And here's the thing about Saturn. Saturn begins its return in the 27-year cycle. It begins the return in the 27-year cycle. That's the word rituals 27. It's fateful number. A lot of stars dead at 27. This man born on the 27th of June. Again, the day DJ Screw got paid. But Saturn, again, it begins the return in 27 years. It's like the full-on return 3 years later at the 30-year mark. Saturn's full return is 30 years. And then in the next 3 years, it's like in the reverse phase of where it was from years 27, 28, 29, going up to 30. So the next 3 years going out, because it's moving on the cycle, right? So the next 3 years puts us at 33 years, right? So again, just him being 33, Saturn being so important to these occultists, Saturn, the keeper of time, Saturn's sickle, part of its astrological symbols where the Grim Reaper scythe comes from. Scarface in his song referencing the Grim Reaper. You know, you can't fight death, you just got to let it go. But yeah, this man, he's dead at 33, and from his birthday to his death is 137 days. 137 is the 33rd prime number. So hold on, let's bring up the base cipher system again. If you're new here, Gematria is very simple. The cipher where everything was 33 was the alphabetic order with numerology. With the alphabetic order, Masonry is 105. With the reverse alphabetic order, it's 84. With the reverse numerology, it's 39. These are the base ciphers. And we can get into a lot of examples of where these other numbers are very important. But with regard to him being dead 137 days after his birthday, which is, again, the 33rd prime, look at this. The word authority is 137. We're trusting the authorities constantly in these stories that use the same numbers over and over. And again, our nation's ultimate authority is the federal government in the Jesuit stronghold, D.C., you know, the city that's named the Masonic City after the Freemason George Washington, who became president in 1789, the year the first Jesuit university was established in D.C., Georgetown. And just for the record, you guys, Georgetown is 57, like George is 57. Scottish Rite is 57. It's all synced up with the moon, which is 57, and there's a connection with the Earth and the moon and its orbit in 57, but I can't remember exactly how it is off the top of my head. Again, it goes beyond just the language. There's a reason for all of this. Anyhow, authority, 137. The 33rd prime. Look at the word government. Also 137 when you run the alphabetic order in reverse. Look at White House, 137 in the same cipher. Look at Washington, D.C., 137, right? Just think about the odds of this being a coincidence. And then the Masons buildings being there, the nickname, it all perfectly encoded, the ritualism over and over, the same numbers, the same death patterns, secret societies being connected to the federal city, the origins of American football. Here, I want to come back to government for a second, just to make a point. You see how government's 133 as well? You see how football is 133? You see how president is also 133, and so is White House? Again, I want you to look this up if you don't know this is true. From the day the Constitution was born to the day the NFL was founded was 133 years later. And I've been explaining to you for a decade now and proving my point about how this sports thing's going to happen because it's synced up with this man in office and this date, and you've seen how many times it's happened. And we've connected to multiple politicians over multiple years. You know, I started to wonder about this up before I knew Gematria, because like, wow, the Chicago Blackhawks just can't stop winning the Stanley Cup now that Barack Obama's in office, and they hadn't been that great for a while. My dad's a huge Chicago Blackhawks fan, so that stood out to me at the time. I was like, I was already on to the rigged sports thing with 9/11 and the Patriot Act and the Patriots. So when this, I was just like, okay, something's going on. And then about 3-4 years later, I'm learning Gematria, and we're really seeing it. And I already understood it, because I remember after 9/11, you turn on the NFL game, those guys were on talking about the 9/11 propaganda and shaming you if you were questioning anything. I was like, God, it's just like watching CNN or Fox News or ABC. Every channel you turn on right now, they're talking about the same stuff with the same viewpoint. Nobody's questioning anything, and I'm the bad guy. Terry Bradshaw's on TV calling out people like me. You weirdos out there saying it's an inside job. It's like, people believe this sellout because he played in a rigged football league that they can't see through? Come on, man. 49ers dropping 49 points in the Super Bowl as a kid. And my dad's a big Niners fan, too. And I was like, Again, I got to watch Jordan get away with everything against the Blazers growing up in Portland. But anyway, coming back to this. Do you understand? You guys, like, is it, for those of you guys who've been just watching for 10 years on the sidelines, who still don't, like, support in any way or come out and we pound pavement all the American cities, but have been watching for all these years? Like, is it sinking in more and more that this needs to be exposed and stopped, and this is super sick? Saturn and the occult is related with Satan. Does that surprise you? Sacrificing human beings because they sold their souls? Did DJ Hayden even have a choice? What if DJ Hayden just like gets picked for the ritual and he's just part of, the legacy that other people went with before him? Again, we don't know the answers in totality to all these questions, but that's why this whole thing needs to be stopped, because you can see that it's happening. Here, I want to point out a few other things about this man's death, DJ Hayden. His birthday is June 27th, and if you check, every year I'm doing a video on June 27th about a suspicious death. And the reason why is because that's the day leaving 187 days left in the year. And you know what? Speaking of hip-hop music, which made a lot of things popular and put people's ideas and thoughts in people's heads for the first time ever. People never heard of the Illuminati for the most part before hip-hop. 187, never heard of it before hip-hop. 187 really is related to the Illuminati. All these things equal 187 in Gematria. You see how we said Washington, D.C. equals 137? You run it the other way, it's 187. George Washington also has that 187. He was recognized as the first president in the history books, even though it didn't have to be that way. Notice it all starts when the first Jesuit university is established. Again, George Washington took office at age 57 in 1789. Georgetown was established in January 1789. George Washington took office March 4th, 1789. So right after. Georgetown, of course, has that 129, which is 201 in base 8 counting, 42 like Jesuit and Freemason. Into that same cipher, Jesuit. But actually, you know what? I do need to make a point about 96. I'm glad I put that up on the screen. You see how Freemason is 96? DJ Screw, he signed the record deal for the June 27th album. 96. They call it DJ Screw Day. DJ Screw Day in Houston, June 27th, the same day DJ Hayden was born. The album in 96, the word Freemason 96. Interestingly enough, Satanism is also 96. But here's the cool thing about 96 and the word Freemason. The Scottish Rite, which has its HQ in D.C., which Walter Camp was a member of. The most potent branch of Freemasonry seemingly in U.S. history if you look into it. The top degrees of the Scottish Rite, 31, 32, 33. You add those 3 degrees together, it's 96, right? And the lowest of those degrees is 31, like Houston. Like Houston's 31. The man from Houston, 31. Dead at 33. But yeah, again, the rites of the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, if you want to look into it, were written by Jesuit priests. And again, the Jesuits have been in D.C. for longer than the federal government or the Freemasons. And again, the Jesuits are from the 16th century, the same century the calendar that we're now on, which is named after the Pope was set up, where Pope equals 52 to go with the 52-week year. at that same time, again, you got English standardized with the 26-letter alphabet. So look at all these 187s. Again, we just talked about how Washington, D.C., the Masonic city, is 187 like George Washington. Look how the Jesuits, their formal title, Society of Jesus, is 187. Look how Holy Roman Empire is 187. And if you run it the other way, it's 218. And that's interesting because they say the Holy Roman Empire ended on August 6th, 1806, which was the 218th day of the year. DC's always doing the 218 rituals, just like how they did one right before what popped off with the new 9/11 in Israel, which we called out before it happened in the TFR episode October 4th, how it was all pointing to Saturday, October 7th, Putin's 71st birthday. Go back and watch that TFR broadcast on GematriaEffectNews 25. See the power of this knowledge and why we've been able to foresee what's planned in the ongoing cabal operation before it occurs, because we see what they're doing. Anyway, you see how Holy Roman Empire, though, is 187? Look at the 187, 88, and 74. Look at George Washington. 187, 88, and 74. And you see how George Washington is 74? Look at Jesus Christ, 74. And the reason I bring that up, notice how Jesus is 74, just like Messiah, like gospel, like parables. Again, look, in all my years of doing the research, I just came across this, maybe I've lost track of time, 4, 5, 6 months ago. At the Capitol building, there's a painting of George Washington in the clouds on the top part of the building. I don't have my right terminology for that. But the very top of the building, George Washington's up in the clouds like he's Jesus. And then in the same building beneath it, there's an open tomb in tribute to George Washington, just like how in the world you can visit the open tomb in tribute to Jesus. You think this stuff's an accident? Again, Masonic 74, they got their own version of the Bible. The English versions of the Bible are numerically encoded, as we've talked about in so many different ways. Remember, there's 187 chapters. 187 chapters. And the Torah, which is the basics of the Abrahamic religions, a word that's also 187. So again, all of this stuff really does go back to the Bible. And you know, the whole Genesis 3:22. Genesis is the first book of the Abrahamic religions. It's right at the beginning. Genesis 3:22 mentions the tree of life, the physical model for Cabala, 3 pillars, 22 paths. Talks about knowing good and evil, like there's a good half and an evil half to Cabala. And Abrahamic's another word with that 38 too, because you know, that's not normally where we talk about the 38, but it's a very important number. Here, just to make a point. Abrahamic's 38, English is 38, Gematria is 38. There's that song out there, Gematria, the killing name. Killing's 38. DJ Screw's June 27th album's 38 minutes long. Rapper's 38. Tupac and Biggie and a million more dead on 38 date numerology. But, you know, notice in this British world that we live in, where English is the fastest spreading language of the world, the continent that they've picked on the most, Africa, also has the 38 encoded on it, you know? And I have a friend who used to work for Magic 105 in Houston, and he said that, you know, he doesn't like how the hip-hop world had everybody speaking that same word over and over, so he's not really a big fan of hip-hop music, because he just sees how kind of like a condition... The soft ending, the A ending to the word that is commonly used in large part thanks to hip-hop culture. Notice how it's also got the 38 coded on it. You know what I mean? And more often than not, when we're talking about 38 in the world of celebrity death, it's a young black man. So, again, I've made that point many times. I think if you're a Gematria channel and you're really thinking about what we're actually exposing, the language, the spells, the spelling, the cursive, the curses, I mean, it's somehow the vibration of that word. Remember, it's all Hermeticism. Energy is another 38 word, just like English and Gematria. And you see how it's all in that dark blue cipher? Again, that's the one we started with. From doing 90% of my work for the first year in that cipher, that's how I knew there was relevance to the code. I was like, man, there's so much in this cipher. It's just like amazing. But notice the word cabal is also 38. Notice how Pentagon's 38 in Washington, D.C. The federal city's on the 38th parallel north, and it's got this military that's just killing people all over the world for New World Order control as it propagandizes its own nation and tells them they're the greatest, freest people there ever was, and they have to go kill all these people worldwide for our own safety and freedom here, as we don't even have that, as we're being exploited like tax cattle and fed poison and lied to and propagandized and made to not know the difference between upside down and right side up. No, this stuff is not an accident, you guys. It's not an accident why we're talking about the same numbers and the rituals are so damn obvious and it's always coming back to Saturn. Here, you know what else is crazy? If you measure from the anniversary of DJ Hayden being drafted into the NFL, from that draft anniversary date to his death is a span of 201 days. And if you're new here, this number we talk about all the time. The first ever Jesuit Pope. He's the first ever to live in Suite 201 at the Vatican. And his birthday is Saturnalia, day to worship Saturn that goes back to ancient Rome, which is associated with sacrifice. But DJ Screw, his birthday is July 20th. That's the anniversary of the moon landing, the 201st day of the year, 201. And check this out. Saturn worship, for example, has Gematria 201, okay? If you're new here, we're talking about how these rituals come together so often all the time, why somebody's always dying 201 days before the Pope's birthday. The other year, it was Joe Biden's son at age 46 before he became number 46. Inaugurated on the 201st day of the nation's age, which is the 20th day of January, 201, the day that they moved the inauguration to. But look at this. Saturn worship's 201. Sacrifice to Saturn is 201. Saturnian order is 201. You see how Saturnian order is 177, 69, and 201 as well as 93? First, notice that Saturn is 69 and 93, right? But then come back. Saturnian order, 177, 69, 201. Look at the Jesuit order, 177, 69, 201. Where do these numbers come together in rituals and history? Catherine the Great, who preserved the Jesuit order, preserved it with 201 Jesuit priests, and her husband died from poisoning on July 17th, when the Jesuits are known for killing with arsenic poisoning. Captain Tom, recently knighted on July 17th by the Queen, then died 201 days later, supposedly from COVID, when the Event 201 simulation was the COVID simulation hosted by Klaus Schwab, who's a Jesuit, whose name's 177. And if I'm not mistaken, Benjamin Netanyahu's 177, and again, he left in the 201 ritual, came back to Israel in the 201 ritual. Its official title, State of Israel, which is 201. David Ben-Gurion, the first PM of the nation, died 201 days from the anniversary of its establishment, like Order of Illuminati's 201, which was founded by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt, who died 201 days from the anniversary of its establishment. There's that 93 again. But again, where did we begin? We began with how 6 people died in a car crash. One of them's a star football player whose 6th birthday was the day that DJ Screw got super rich on June 27th in terms of hood money, I guess you could say. Not in terms of Bill Gates money. But became a major fame. Goes down as a hip-hop legend. So notice, DJ Screw's song, June 27th, came out. They put out this song after his passing in 2002. 21 years before this death, right? 21 is the 6th triangular number. Again, Saturn's the 6th planet. They said DJ Hayden died in a 6-car accident on a Saturday, named after, again, the 6th planet. His 6th birthday, the day the June 27th album came out. June 27th is DJ Screw Day in Houston. And again, their death days, now a total span of 11 days, or 6 days apart. November 11th to November 16th. It's 5 days later, but a total span of 6 days. One more time. November 11th. Count it on your fingers. The 11th, the 12th, the 13th, the 14th, the 15th. You should be on your 5th finger. The 16th. 2 men. DJ. And here's actually one more piece to just cement what I'm saying. Where did I put it at? Look how DJ Hayden and Catholic overlap, right? You see this overlap? 71, 35, 145. Again, 145 more chapters in the Catholic Old Testament. Catholics also 46, like Houston, Texas is 46, like Sacrifice is 46. Last year when Houston went to the World Series, they'd gone to 4 of the last 6 World Series. George Floyd, who was from Houston, was killed at age 46 in a a mega 201 ritual to tip off the nation, being provoked and played with. But yeah, this is the part that brings back the Bob Marley song. Who is doing this to the world? Who is creating these living hells that don't need to be here? Who's manipulating humanity day after day? Whose calendar are we on? Whose intelligence agencies are overseeing us? Again, when you realize that the CIA was established in a major Jesuit ritual on the 201st day of the Pope's age, it's not hard to understand, especially when the Jesuits are known for being the greatest intelligence agency in the world, and they've corrupted this government. And for everyone who sits around and still in 2023 says, well, if they died in a car crash, how come nobody's getting to the bottom of it? Think about again, use your imagination and try to answer the question yourself, first of all. But how many people in this world are easily bought off and will do something, including murder? Isn't the number one show on Netflix right now The Killer, about an assassin? We started to, Sweet Lady, it was too boring for her at the beginning. We started this movie last night. I was like, wow, the number one movie is The Killer, about an assassin. Okay, let's see what they got. In the beginning, it's like a slow dialogue, and he's explaining his philosophies on life, and he's getting to why he's a killer. But about where we shut it off is where he was talking about how he knows the ultimate truth of this world, and that after death, there is nothing. So that's why he doesn't feel like there's going to be a moral obligation for murdering as many people as he does for money. But again, there's people in the world who, if you talk to them, if you probably talk to somebody whose job it is to off people for clearly the Jesuit cabal that does this on the regular worldwide. Or if you don't think it's that, if you don't think that they're literally poisoning people, as again, books were written 300 years ago about how the Jesuits routinely kill people with arsenic. So again, it's a poison that's almost traceless. Again, I beg to differ. The world is corrupt. The world is sold out. Money dominates most people. How many people at their job see something evil happen, but they don't dare say a peep about it because they need the job to feed the family? How many people are in the exact same circumstance in this world, and that's why things go on as they do? So, again, you got some sold out police officers, the special unit called there to take care of the scene, put up the tape, keep everybody away. You don't know how deep these operations can go to continually manufacture these same type of stories that are just so tragic for celebrities. Unless there's a true scientist out there could figure out why maybe at age 33 you're more likely to drive 1,000,000 miles per hour and get in a deadly accident, because we've seen this story 1,000 times. Maybe it's something other than the secret societies that the number connects back to, as we are just meant to be kept in the dark and listen to the authorities. Again, the police, you guys, all these stories come from the police. How dare I forget that in the same cipher where everything's 33, how dare I forget that the police equals 33? You know what I mean? Police, 33. Secrecy, 33. Order, 33. Masonry, 33. Federal, 33. We went through the whole list at the beginning. The Fraternal Order of Police is Masonic. I just moved to this little tiny town, and it's like so many others. The same building is where the Masonic Lodge and the police department is. So you got the police telling you about the story, how he and 5 other people died, for a total of 6, how they died at 33 in the witching hour of Saturday. And you got the news media that never digs into anything and just goes with whatever the authorities say, reporting to you. And your argument to me is how could that be corrupted? I mean, how couldn't it be? It's just so simple. It's just it hardly even has to pass through any channels of communication. You got the corrupt unit there in the city. I notice a lot of times you watch the city's back up again, you're like, man, it's the exact same people again. Same police spokespeople again. Anybody, any other police officers in that city? I want to hear the story from somebody else. Tired of all these just 33s and everybody not blinking an eye at it. But look at the Daily Mail, the way they put it. It's like they're begging you to realize. They're like, damn it, they don't even... Ex-NFL player DJ Hayden, 33 and 3, and they put it in caps, and 3 of his former college football players dead in this crash. That's a total of 4, right? 4 is the number of death. But you know what that reminds me of? I remember when I first started this, I still had my medical marijuana delivery business, and I did get a new vehicle at the time, and at the time that I got the new vehicle, I had a cop that was always, he'd always just park outside my house because he knew that we had to grow there and it was legal. But still, in Washington State at the time, you were having the feds raid places. And I was in a city north of Seattle, Bothell, that wasn't real fun. They weren't allowing dispensaries yet. They had a citywide ordinance keeping out the dispensaries. So I always had this cop just parked outside of my house, outside of my house, outside of my house. He was there all the time. And the one day, it was after I got the new vehicle at the time for the delivery service, the first time driving that vehicle from the house when he was out there parked, he just followed me and then he pulled me over at the end of the block. And I was doing this work at the time. You know, in the early days of this research, I was doing things on the whiteboard. And like when I wasn't doing the delivery business in my free time, I was just advancing my research and findings. It was all very new back then. But we knew important things about 33. We knew the whole masonry, order, secrecy, federal, people, person, kundalini. We had all that back then. So that's how we knew there was something to this. There was literally backbone to it. But anyway, the reason I'm telling you this story about the officer is because when he pulled me over, he said, "You know what I'm pulling you over for?" I said, "Well, I don't know. You park outside my house every day. I'm driving a new car. Maybe you don't like what we're doing. And maybe you've seen my online videos. I don't know." I said, I talk a lot about police and this thing called Gematria and 33. And then I said, "If you don't mind," and he actually sat there and listened. I said, "So check this out. Tell me what you think." And then I showed him how police equals 33. I was like, P's the 16th letter of the alphabetic order. The numerology 7. So if you add up police is 33. So is the word masonry, secrecy, order, federal. And he goes, He goes, though, it's really about 3. And I said, "Oh." I go, "Why is it more about 3? He goes, "Well, you should come down to the launch some." He said something like that. "Come down to the launch sometime and learn more about it." Or maybe he said we have speakers every month at the police department from the Masonic Lodge. I forget exactly how the conversation went, but the main point that I'll always take away is how he was like, "Oh, it's actually about 3 more than 33. And again, it's all biblical, you guys. The Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, Catholic, modern Freemasonry, a Jesuit creation. The Jesuits serve the Catholic Church. The 3 Abrahamic religions. Time, the past, the present, the future. That's a big thing with time. And these people are like here to control all time. But yeah, anyway. I didn't realize the camera was off this whole time. My bad. I am here. It's not an AI. It's not a bot. But yeah, I think we hit all the main points. DJ Screw Day, June 27th. DJ Hayden, born June 27th. His 6th birthday, 96. Big payday for DJ Screw. And just one more fateful Gematria number, 25. Death has that Gematria 25. The word time's 25. Your time's up. Devil's 25, like Enlil. Babylonian parallels, like Earth. And again, I mean, it all goes back to Hermeticism. Everything has a vibration, an energy. It manipulates the world. It has influence in the world. These people are manipulating the energy level where it's beneficial to them. But is it even really beneficial to them? To them, just having total control is the end goal. So that's how they see if it's beneficial. But it's like, are you even enjoying this? I mean, like, it's that Scarface song we had at the beginning, guys. Imagine peace with no grief. Imagine grief with no peace. As long as people continue to play into the hands of this cabal, man, it's just so hard to explain, but they keep everybody away from their adult responsibilities, from the truth, in the world of entertainment, in the world of superficiality. It's like they just want society just living in the shallow end of the pool. So scared of the deep end. Don't you dare go in the deep end. You're a bad person if you go in the deep end. And that's another thing that's funny, too, about the society we live in. Like, it's sad right now. Suicides are at an all-time high. They introduced a national suicide hotline by the numbers last year. We covered that at the time. And remember, last year started off with a number of weird suicides. Former entertainers' children supposedly committing suicide left and right. It was nonstop. It was about a year and a half ago. It was at the beginning of 2022. Time flies. Might have also continued a little bit at the beginning of this year as well, actually. But it wasn't as bad as the year before. But the thing about society is, like, like my sister, for example, she's very mainstream. So she'll become very conscientious about suicide, but at the same time, she'll demonize and stereotype people like me who question things with all the like nasty programmed hatred. And that's the point I'm trying to make. These programmed people, like, they go along with the agendas and the things they're supposed to show sympathy to. Just like if you turn on cable news right now, you're supposed to have a lot of sympathy for Israel, but not really have any sympathy for Gaza. Like, if you're following the instructions of the media, care a lot about Israel, don't really care that much about Gaza. Gaza lives, not as important as Israel lives. That's what the media wants you to feel. The media wants you to feel, real sympathetic about people who are transgender and suicidal, and gay people who are suicidal, who need Pride Month. Again, be very kind and generous towards these people. If you say anything about them on social media, you'll be taken down for hate speech and banned, maybe deleted. But it's okay to demonize people who question mainstream narratives and call them weirdos and conspiracy theorists and tinfoil hatters. That's okay, because if those people commit suicide, we're not really worried about them. You know what I mean? It's kind of like how it is, if you really think about it. These group of people that just always think they're in the right because they're just following what the TV told them, and then they have this really negative behavior towards things that are actually like true and authentic, things they should actually care about. It's just like me after 9/11. I saw through all the bullshit. I saw through how wrong the wars were. I saw about how we're probably killing all these innocent people that had nothing to do with that. And everyone was so mad at me. Move out of the country. Shut the fuck up. You're a weirdo. You're a conspiracy theorist. Bullshit, our country never do that. We're the greatest fucking country. USA. It's like, Good argument. There never is an argument. There's just all these stereotypes and name-calling and TV watching people who think if they regurgitate what they saw on the TV last night, they're smart. Listen to me, I regurgitate exactly what the news said. I'm so smart. It's like, well, where in our upbringing, I don't even remember in the 13 years of slave school, them telling you to be a parrot of the news made you were smart, but somehow that happens. It's like some other cultural lesson in conditioning and programming. Thank you, the Out of Pocket Variety Show. I appreciate your generosity. He says, just tuned in, gained an even higher respect for you for knowing about Scarface, especially that song. We got to talk soon, my brother. Hey, don't forget, you guys, my sister was born the same year as DJ Screw. And I forgot to bring in the Bob Marley point. That this number, you guys, this 71 number, look at this. You know what else is on this number? I'm not saying if you were born in 71 it's a bad thing. My sister did happen to be born in 71. But the word hell is 71, right? And it's the Catholic Church that really is making the world heaven and hell. Again, you have to remember the Catholic Church isn't about spirituality. They've always been about control. And they've always been about controlling information and people for their own wealth. And that's why they live in that mega palace in the Vatican that's its own city-state that has its own central bank. And again, we're on their calendar. Again, you got to be kind of brain dead to not see that they're who's running the show. People say it's Jews. How come it's all Roman architecture, and how come we're on the Pope's calendar then? How come all this stuff is constantly synced up with the Pope and the Superior General? Again, tomorrow, Sunday, NFL, you have a mega ritual with the Steelers and the Packers. The Steelers are on 666 regular season wins, exactly 666 days, or excuse me, not days, but weeks after Super Bowl 45, which was Packers and Steelers. And again, 666 is another component of the Jesuit logo through the IHS. But again, year after year, we're showing this, that it's so obvious what's at the heart of all of this. They need the evil in the world. Have you seen where religious communities do the most damage, if you will, in the populace? It's the most depleted, destroyed communities have the most religious base. They know this part of these people have been doing it for a long time. Abuse the shit out of people. They'll be in the church the most because they don't have any other hope. They gotta believe in a man in the sky is going to come down and save them. Rapture's any day now. You know, it's Santa down the chimney for adults and for children. And it's taught to us when we're children, just like Santa. Santa, a reshuffling of Satan. Santa on 1225. 1225, square root of 35. Why is Santa the same as Jesus, the old name for Jesus, 35? Why is Satan 35? Why is Baphomet 35? Why is Catholic 35? Why is Holy See 35? Why is Jesuitism 35? Why is the first Catholic president JFK, number 35, born on the 149th day of the year, the 35th prime. Everyone thinks he's the hero. Another actor on the stage. Good cops, bad cops. You think the story was corrupt from the beginning and then JFK just snuck in there? No, come on, man. Good cop, bad cop. This is the story. This is how they keep people believing in the system. We got to get another JFK in there. JFK, number 35, first Catholic, dead at age 46. Like Catholics, 35 and 46. Joe Biden elected 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday, becomes number 46, inaugurated on the Pope's 35th day of his age. His son, Beau Biden, dead at 46, 201 days before the Pope's birthday. Saturn sacrifice. But yeah, I was also saying about just knowing songs. I grew up with my sister and all of her boyfriends, and again, for people to know the story, we were the only white kids in the neighborhood, so we grew up around a lot of hip-hop music. And, you know, like, that song, I mean, they were playing that all the time. Wasn't that on the Jason's Lyrics soundtrack? If I'm not mistaken, that Scarface song's on that soundtrack. I think that's exactly the tape cassette they'd be playing in the car. It had a whole bunch of, you know, compilation songs. But I remember my sister's boyfriend, you know, he'd rewind, play the Scarface over again. That was the song. And I remember as a kid just sitting and listening to that song, and I mean, you're a child, but you could just tell, it's like, okay, he's got something these other guys don't have. Don't forget Scarface and Tupac did that song together, Smile. Tupac's on the crucifix in that one as well. And then Tupac died on Caesar Borgia's birthday, who's white Jesus, and then he died. And they put out the Machiavelli album after Machiavelli, who wrote The Prince on Caesar Borgia. Now Tupac's all back in the headlines because the Super Bowl's going to Vegas. And, you know, Tupac died at a big sports event, a boxing match. Got into a fight after the fight. It reminds me when I lived downtown Seattle. I lived from downtown Seattle from the end of 2006 until the very end of 2011. And there was one UFC fight at Key Arena the whole time I was there. And I'll never forget that night, man, because the town just turned crazy. Violence everywhere, people brawling everywhere, breaking property, smashing windows. And I was like, shit, man, I knew UFC was fucked up, but look at what it does. No, I feel bad about this. The only time I ever called the cops on anybody was because I could not get this guy to stop beating the shit out of a man outside of my apartment at like 3 a.m. And I didn't want to go down there because he was with his boy. I don't know what was going on, but it was just so brutal, you guys. I'm not sure that guy was even alive. I went back in the house because they were there. But I said, yo, man, you guys got to come out here. This dude. And I think what they were really mad about is they were drunk. And that guy was saying something about, it was something about sports related. Anyway, man, it was horrible though. But I was like, this is crazy. I mean, I've never seen just like vandalism everywhere. And this is before Seattle. Seattle wasn't fucked up at this time. Now Seattle's like, isn't that how Seattle is all the time now? It's like, yeah, that's what they turned it into. But it was like that night. On the UFC, it was crazy, you guys. I'm not exaggerating. It was so bad. It was so bad. It was just chaos. I thought, man, they're making weed illegal. Weed wasn't legal back then. That's how I was thinking. I was like, God, weed's illegal, but we can have UFC. Fuck. I mean, I know if the whole town's smoking joints, this isn't happening. Oh my God, it was alcohol and adrenaline and. Everybody need to get out in the Seattle Harbor in darkness. All this dark energy in people. That night it came out. Yeah, you think you're in heaven, but you're living in hell. Catholic Church is making this place is a heaven. You just look at well, hold on. Let's be fair, actually. So, again, just think you're in heaven, but you're living in hell. What they just did with DJ Hayden, DJ Screw, born in 71. What they just did with Israel, 71 days before the Pope's birthday, on Putin's 71st birthday, and people didn't get the joke. You know Hamas is some intelligence agency, just like Osama was backed by the CIA to interfere with the Soviet Union in Afghanistan before 9/11 happened. And then the war pops off on the anniversary going into Afghanistan after 9/11, man. The New World Order cabal that does this stuff by the code. Remember 9/11, the whole plan went into motion in 1968, 33 years before 2001. World Trade Center construction, 911 made the National Emergency Dialing Code, George W. Bush out of Yale, Skull and Bones, and the rest of the list. The New York Jets, only Super Bowl winning season, the year the whole plan went into motion. Jets brought Drew Bledsoe got knocked out, bringing Tom Brady into the Jets game after 9/11. And then Tom Brady, Patriot Act, Patriots, history, scripted, ritual. But yeah, 68 to 2001 was 33 years. And by the way, the name Tom equals 33, and he had a good amount of 33 rituals in his time as well. So yeah, I went overtime again, and got to get back to the work. For all you guys on the sports, I'll be finishing up the notes. We'll stream a little bit later, go over NFL Week 10, and yeah, RIP to DJ Hayden, and for all you guys who continue to watch videos like this but still go to the games and support the leagues. That's the thing that's bothering me. Some of these, I saw somebody do a response video actually on this, and they said, "Oh, well, that's because I don't think it's all a conspiracy. I just think it's the way the universe works." It's like, please, man, you're trying to. He's using the knowledge to make money off the sports picks, and then he's arguing that this is some part of some corrupt, sick system. That's why, some people just aren't meant to have this knowledge, and they don't deserve it. But you got to get it out there, and that's just the way it is. So can't dwell on that. Until next time, Truth Seeker.